Good afternoon, everyone. All right, thank you very much. My name is Agita Pasaribu, and it's been an honor for me to stand today in here to speak about digital inclusion in Industrial Revolutions 4.0. So I believe that each of us know about industrial revolutions. Have you heard about that? All right. So just quickly, before we gradually speaking about digital inclusions, Industrial Revolutions 4.0, as you can see in here, the fourth industrial revolution that taking what was started, and the third with the adoptions of computers, automations, and enhance it with smart and autonomous system built by data and machine learning. So there are thousands of complex cutting edge of technology these days to solve the social issues that we're facing. For example, the United Nations and Amnesty International have used the virtual reality to help people better understand the plight of refugees and citizens in war-torn zones. The World Food Programme has been reducing cost of corruptions in order to distributing the cash transfer to the refugees by using the iris scanning and a blockchain technology. So now, these kind of developments will going to help us in order to solve our problem that's been a decades, which is to ensuring every single people have the access for water, for healthcare, for shelter, and for education. And this technology alter very meaning to the leaders and the policy making. Now the question is, how should leaders and policymakers prepare themselves for this new era? So in my perspective, I think we all need to immerse ourselves first in order to process the technology innovations, and then to create the policy and opportunities to maximize the benefit and reducing the risk. In the past, we know that all the leaders have the responsibility as the provider. But today, we are all right now in here is giving the solutions to create a better future for all of us. So, in order to support the startup, what exactly that our leader needs to do? Is to combine what we call in here to work together to make sure the innovation economy and traditional economy meets for powerful change. And how are we going to do that? We started from the labor unions. We invest more to the rural areas in order for them to connect it with the global innovations. Most of our government is focusing in the rural area and for women to give them and to tell them to create a handicraft and to sell them. But should we not be training our women for the programming, for a coding, for artificial intelligence, for designing a car smart? Now, in here with me, there's estimating McKinsey chart. They're estimating that if the role of women is not encouraged, the world will lose $12 trillion per year until 2012, which is equivalent to size with the current GDP of Germany, of Japan, and the United Kingdom in combined. And we are in Asia and the Pacific, will lose 4.5 trillion per year. Isn't it a huge number, right? So we know that in here, gender parity, that is completely an integral part in the Sustainable Development Goals. Why? Because half of the populations of our world is a women. And then it means half of the world potential is actually needs to be represented. And this clearly says when we are utilizing our potential that we can achieve the prosperity and the welfare. But again, we see that in here. The female labor force participation rates is very low in many, many countries, including in my country, Indonesia. The gender gaps is a very, very huge, this is something a challenge when we are speaking about developing a women and tackling the poverty. Now, the question is, how are we doing this? What's the first one that we have to do in order to tackle the digital inclusivity? The question is, and the answer is education. And what kind of education? Is the STEM. I believe that everybody in here have heard about STEM, right? It's the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this is here with me is the numbers of the STEM graduates all over the world. And now I have 26% only the female graduates from the STEM. Now, how can we start of investing more female to study STEM? Of course, by education. But how we are going to do this? It starts off education, giving more e-courses, digital skills that have to be all integrated in every sector of education and accessible equally for boys and girls. In the same time, we are lacking of the role in a female. Most of our educational training is a very all males example. So we need gender sensitivity in all our educational training resources that needs to be all balanced female and male gender example. We are all now talking about the internet era. We're not talking about industrial revolutions. We do aware that the more we are having the powerful technology within us, the more cyber issues that we are facing. So one of them is cybersecurity, data privacy, and the most important is cyberbullying. That will be the second biggest challenge in the 2020. Our next agenda is to create the human revolution. So in 2017 October, Dalai Lama and India government has launched a pilot program to bring universal ethics, a comprehensive framework for the cultivation of social, emotional, and ethical competencies for children. And what it is, what kind of skill is that? Is the skill that we all need to stay being human in order to facing this complex era and manage ourselves in the powerful of technology, this will be the next agenda for all of you who are sitting in the government to put it in education curriculum. Now, this is the world that we are facing right now with the industrial revolutions. We have the policymakers, we have the private sector, but we all need to work together in order to face these industrial revolutions that getting faster and faster. This is not only my responsibility, this is also all my females' responsibility, all of us in here. This is also the policy making and the leaders' responsibility, the private sector, and all the civil society to create a better technology that works for all of us to own our future. Thank you.